Hi everyone and welcome back. I am going to speak today about what is the current meta teams. The last video I did was approx 6 months ago when I went through all the old meta teams and what was the current meta teams and explained what I thought they were good and which one you should build. I will do the same taking into account that there are new 3 heroes, Lara Croft, Octavia and Oya, and how this have changed the meta of the game. One thing I would like to say is I have tried to do this video already 2 times and there is a little bit of delay between the voice and the video. It's something to do with my phone. I don't know what is going on. Say thank you to Google. I don't know what happened with the last update of Pixel, but it's what it is. Okay. So if I will advise also to check the previous video to understand all the previous teams. Okay, so I'm going to show you what were the meta teams 6 months ago. The best meta team was Tough, which is the combination of Artemis, Tristan, and Fafnir. If I say Artemis here, and then with Luther. Okay, so this was the best team in the game. I still think it's a very good and viable team. Also, it's very good versus Hydra, particularly you remove Luther and you put Galahad. Okay, it's quite good. You can also put Dorian instead of Clever, will be better. But honestly, the only hero you need to build here is Galahad instead of Luther, and the team will go or it will work very well against Hydra. Okay, and in defense and attack, it was very good. But after the release of particularly Octavia and Oya, people start to use less and less often this team. The second team, or the second best team, was JJA, also called Engineers or also called Progress Team. This is the team of using Julius with Judge and Isaac. Okay, this is JJA. With this, usually you play Sebastian or Nebula. I will go with Nebula because it was the most common team in defense. And as an attacker, as a damage dealer, you can play with Astrid or you can play with Ginger. Astrid, I think, is much better hero than Ginger. It can be played in other teams, whereas Ginger is only for this particular team. But at that time, this team, particularly in defense, because Astrid is hard counter by Iris, Ginger as a defense with Nebula was the better option. Okay, this team was very, very, very good team. And then the third team was the one with Nature, Mam, which is Albanor, Moyo, and Masi, usually with Aurora. Sometimes you can play with Corvus or Clever. And then as a fifth hero, it started initially with with Dark Star, they moved to Orion, and then finally it was Astrid. Okay, this was the 13th and was very good. This team is particularly very good versus Hydra because Mojo and Masi are very good versus Hydra, also very good in attack, but in defense falls short, particularly because Iris destroys Mojo and destroys Astrid. If you remove Astrid and you put Aiden or you put Dark Star, you put Orion, still the Iris team of Eternity team with Phobos, it will do a lot of damage against this team, so it was very easy to counter. Also, you can use Rufus as a tank, which Rufus has a lot of protection against magic. When it dies, it resurrects against magic teams, and this is a magic team. Okay, some people has used as a fifth hero Oya now. I don't think that brings anything to the team. I think Oya has much more valuable in physical teams than in a magic team. Okay, so from these 3 teams, to be honest, MAM has disappeared, so the nature team here has completely disappeared. I was using it in attack, particularly against Oya Tristan. The problem I have is when people started to moving up Oya to level 70 or level 80 of glyphs and Kayla or Jasmine to level 60, 70, sometimes 80, I found out that the combo of Astrid Corvus or Astrid Astaroth with 3 of these nature teams, so Masi, Albanor, Mojo, or 2 of them, plus Cessa, plus Phobos, plus Morgan, these teams does not kill the Oya Tristan team with Kela of Jasmine is they have a high level glyph. It does not work. You get 8 twos, 7 threes, 9 ones. Okay, so you have the someone in your guild or someone that can test for you with a high glyphs. I tested because we have it in my guild and I realized that it does not work anymore. Okay, so taking into account this, honestly, this team now is relegated to completely mainly to be used against Hydra. Okay, the talisman they have released, particularly the massive one, was a disappointment for me personally. Armor, so it's not really bringing anything. Albanor with health, really, I don't think it was the one who needed the health. Maybe Mojo health would have been better, and maybe Albanor with magic attack or magic penetration could have been better. I know that at the end the talisman has not gone well for any of them, in my opinion. Okay, like Mojo having magic attack higher is very good talisman, but I still is that glass cannon that he needed more health. Anyways, the team is not being used anymore. Again, it could be that they release a new hero and this team again come back to the best team, or maybe with the Massey skin that has been released, the health one. When I get it, I don't know if I will be able to get it. Then Massey will be enough goof to hold the line longer and create more mushrooms. I don't know. I don't have it Massey health, okay, but it does not work properly. And you see, it's already almost a 620k team, which is a almost max out team. Okay, so now we are going to speak about what happened with the new heroes and how it had changed. Let's go first to the tough team, so Tristan, Artemis, and Fafnir. What has happened here is with the release of Oya. Oya has a lot of, it's very strong hero. It grabs the hero with a lot of health. It gives you critical hits. It does a lot of damage, but doesn't have armor penetration. To do the damage, needs armor penetration. And this is Tristan. So the combo Tristan Oya is very good combo, is very strong team. It's not the best team current in the current meta. We will discuss who is the best team. But what has happened with the old Tristan, Artemis Fafnir is people need Tristan with Oya. And then here, instead of using Artemis Fafnir or something like this, that you can use, you can perfectly go with Fafnir and Artemis. Okay, and maybe you put with Clever. So at the end, you remove Luther and you put Oya. It's a good team, but really you don't need to wait for to Artemis to ultimate, because Oya Tristan already does a lot of damage. So what you need is something else that does faster damage. So you want a team that is faster doing the damage than waiting for Artemis to do the ultimate. What is this team? Usually is Aiden with Kayla. Okay, the idea Kayla does the damage, Aiden provides the shields and also the increase of health. So this team is very strong. Here you have the option to play with Fafnir, so something like this. If you do this, you need to ensure you have the talisman of Tristan that is health. I don't have it. Okay, if not, you play with Tristan Oya, Fire Siblings, and you play with a tank. Which are the best tank here? You can play with Corvus. Okay, because it's so the problem with Kayla is hard content by Corvus, but if you have your own Corvus and your Corvus is higher in health, maybe you are able to kill Corvus or the altar before the altar kills your own Kayla. Okay, option A is this, but the most common thing I see is with Julius. Okay, particularly in attack or in defense. There is another option that I didn't mention, which will be playing with Oya Tristan, and then you play with Fire Siblings, and then as a tank you play with a Chava. Chava is a very complicated tank because you need to. It's a tank only in defense because it has a lot of randomness. Also, eat the front hero, and the idea with Chava is you need to play in a manner that doesn't have enough health, doesn't have too much armor penetration, armor, not too much magic defense, but enough to survive, but to ultimate faster than the test than your enemy is doing or the person who's going to attack. So as you see, my Chava is not level up at all on purpose, so it's a little bit difficult. One, I will advise to do always physical attack. All the physical attack you can get, I would advise to get it to 500, 600k of health. I believe, I think what Sudden Death did a video about how to level up Chava. This is only for defense and is to create traps for the enemy team. Okay, this is another option you can do, but honestly, you don't want to overcomplicate. I will say the Julius version is the option to go. There is another option which is, again, you can play with Tristan Oya. This is a variant, completely variant of who is going to be the damage dealer. So you play with Tristan Oya. Here, you play with Jasmine instead of Kayla. And because it's Jasmine, you play with Fafnir as a supporting of Jasmine. And as a tank, very important to play with Astaroth because Astaroth gives resurrection and Jasmine is weak in health. Okay, this is another very strong team. A variant of this team will be Aurora instead of Astaroth. Okay, so this team is also a very, very good team. Okay, so for example, you were doing, you had before Tav, so Artemis, Tristan, and Fafnir. Now you replace Artemis, you put Jasmine, and then you put Astaroth, or if you have the tank ready. Okay, you have built the tank. If you have not built Oya, what you can do is, particularly in defense, you can play with Astaroth, Tristan, Fafnir, and then you play with Jasmine and Artemis, both of them, if you have it. because in this manner you don't know which one is going to be which power is going to be increased by Fafnir. Is going to be Jasmine or is going to be Artemis. Okay, so something like this. Imagine you were having only Taff alone, then you have Clever, it's okay, you don't have, and then you have this, what is this then? And then Fafnir. Okay, you have Luther here because you were coming from the old Taff. My advice is to start building Jasmine. Okay, and when possible, you play with this in defense. When possible, if you have Astaroth, you can remove Clever for Astaroth, and then you defense with something like this. Looks weak team, but it's quite good in defense. Okay, it will not be, I will not advise never to use this team in attack, but in defense could be interesting to play. Okay, because you don't know what you need to focus in Jasmine or in Artemis. Okay. Also, this team, if you play with Oya, Oya will try to pick up Jasmine, and then it will not kill Artemis. Okay, so they are quite interesting use cases for these teams. Okay, so this is the first team. Any of these variations, so Oya Tristan, and then you can play with Fire Siblings, or you can play with Jasmine Fafnir. And then there are variations where you play also with Fafnir. Tanks can change. With Jasmine particularly, I always will advise to use Astaroth or Aurora, but Astaroth I think is much better. Also, Astaroth can be used in a much more different teams than Aurora, so my recommendation is Astaroth. For Fire Siblings, my recommendation is Corvus or Julius. Okay, particularly you have the Talisman of Julius. Okay, this is the new meta team, how Tough team has been evolved to the Oya Tristan team. The second team, that is the meta team, which is the current best team in the game, by far, like no question asked, in attack and in defense, like by far is Dante Octavia. Okay, this team, this combo is amazing. One important thing is not Octavia who makes this team strong, it's Dante and Octavia. Without Dante, Octavia does not do anything. It's the combo of both of them. And this is very important to understand that if you kill Dante, you kill the team, or you have a lot of chance to kill the team. Okay. Usually this team is played, there are two combos, which is one is I play with a tank, usually Corvus or Aurora. Corvus because it's an Eternity hero and the base of Octavia for dodge is for Eternity heroes. Also Corvus has a lot of damage, gives you a lot of things, it's a very strong tank, moreover you have the health super skin, and then Aurora has a lot of dodge, which syncs very well with Octavia, okay? The other version is you play with Nebula, so instead of having a tank, you play with Nebula that increase the damage of Dante, and then but you expose Dante to the first line, which means now Dante is vulnerable to Arachne. Something you need to understand. Arachne is not a well-known hero, is not a hero that everyone has, is not a relevant hero, but particularly when you see Dante Octavia with Dante in front of you, if you put Arachne, Arachne will stop Dante to dodge, it will stun Dante. Dante will not be able to dodge the damage, it will die, and plus it will not give any kind of skill to the whole team. So you will stop the engine of Dante Octavia. Okay, this is what usually happens. What are the teams that I see usually is Cascade Faceless, particularly in defense. Okay, another team in defense will be Dante, Nebula, Octavia, of course, and then here you play with Amira, could be Amira Faceless, Amira Lian, Amira Martha, could be different teams. I like this one particularly because of the Maya penetration. The other team that you will see in defense is with Lara Croft. We will discuss about Lara Croft later, but Dante, Nebula, Lara, Octavia, and then here you can play with Martha, you can play with Aiden, you can play with Astrid, if I find Astrid, you can play with Faceless. I don't like this too much, but need to be something that gives you health, and then health, the 4 hero of Octavia always need to be at least 400k to avoid Heidi, okay? In that case, let's go with Martha, okay? This is another defense team, very common to use. And then for attack, as I mentioned before, you will see a lot of Aurora, Nebula, Iris, Dante, and Octavia. In attack, particularly, Iris is the best hero that Dante Octavia can have because syncs very well with Dante, and Iris does a lot of damage. Also, for the debuff of Dante, Iris does much more damage. So it's very strong team, but it's very easy to counter in defense. Okay, this is called Adio. In general, if you need to build 15 heroes and you don't have that number of different heroes, what I will recommend for Dante Octavia and what I will recommend to everyone is play with Corvus, which is one of the 3 main tanks you should have. I will say currently Astaroth, Corvus, and Bari, and after that Julius, are the most relevant tanks you should have. Okay, so what you can do is to kill Kayla, you need Corvus. To kill the resurrection of Astaroth and to kill the resurrection of Aiden, you need Morrigan. So, and also Morrigan, the skeleton of Morrigan goes very well with the dodge of Octavia. So this particular team is very, very, very strong. I will recommend with Iris. The point Iris in defense is a problem because vulnerable to Corvus, vulnerable to Octavia. Okay, so a variant of this is you can play with Faceless, but the power of this team is much lower than the power with Iris. So you will need to play to decide what do you do. I think Faceless requires much less investment than Iris, so going with this team is quite good. But again, remember that you can remove Faceless and you can put Iris, and particularly in attack will be stronger, but in defense, the version of Faceless will be better. Okay, and my recommendation is to go with this team or to with this team. Okay, personally, I will decide if I need to build only 5 heroes. For Tanto Octavia, I will be 100 with this. And I don't know if I will do, maybe I start with Faceless and in the future I will remove Faceless and I will put Iris, okay? This is the second meta team currently, okay? And then what is the third meta team? So the third meta team, honestly, there is no third meta team. Okay, they are not Dante Octavia or Tristan. What people do use or they do is try to find, okay, mine I play with Kayla Aiden with Oya Tristan. Then you have Jasmine and Sebastian free. So maybe you go with a Julius, with Judge and Isaac. So mind you have progress before dawn. So you level up only Jasmine and then you go with this team. Okay. Not amazing, but you go with this team. There are variations of this team, which is I play with Astrid. So you play with Sebastian, Jasmine, Aiden. In mind, you have put Fafnir instead of Aiden, but you play with Kayla, Oya Tristan, Kayla, Fafnir, and then you have Aiden free. I have seen this team also. Okay, very common. There is another variation, which is, again, all the time, Jasmine, Sebastian, Julius, Astaroth, and then here you honestly can put anything you like. It could be Aiden, it could be Isaac is another one I have seen, so something like this. Okay, this also the what is the third team. I don't think they are the same level than the other teams. Okay, but it's what it is. I see other people removing Oya from the Oya Tristan, so they go with something like Julius, Chava, Kayla, Aiden, Tristan. Okay, so you remove Oya from this team. You have a very strong wall in front of you. You have Chava, and it's very random. Julius protected for protecting for the seals. And then what the people does is they play with Sebastian, Jasmine, and then here with Oya. Maybe they add here Astrid or Dark Star. Okay, or maybe Lara. Sometimes people play with Lara, and then they play maybe with Astaroth or maybe play with Corvus, Galahad. It depends what you have available. So if you want to be more safe, it will be with Astaroth. The point of this team is clearly this team has 2 physical attack artifacts, but 2 critical hits artifacts. 4 of the heroes has critical hits. So this team is food for Helios. Moreover, because Helios, again, another hero that probably not too many people has, but Helios is the hard counter for critical hits, and now he has got my penetration talisman, which makes Helios much stronger. Okay, take this into account when you play these teams. Another very, very good team. In mind, you have played Julius, Fire Siblings, Oya Tristan, and you have Fafnir free. Is particular, you have the talisman of Julius, is going with Julius, Judge, so yeah, Julius, Judge, Isaac. If I find Isaac here, and then you play with Fafnir and Lara. Okay, this particular team is quite interesting to play. Okay, looks bad. A lot of people has complained, but if you have this max out team, you will have a surprise. My Fafnir is not maxed out. My thing Judge is missing some artifacts. I think it's missing the 6 stars of the intelligent ring and the weapon. Okay, but for example, this team, I will show you what happened if you go with the traditional tough team against this team. Before tough was a hard counter of progress team, but you see you get now, sorry, you get now 5-5. Now imagine you go against, you use what we were saying before. Imagine Julius, Kayla, Aiden, Tristan, and I think it's Oya. Okay, you go with something like this. Let's see how it goes. 5-5. Okay. Now let's go with the traditional anti-progress using progress, which is they use Sebastian Astrid, because you put a lot of pressure in Julius, and then if you kill Julius, you win the match. It's simple as it is. So what is Isaac here? As you see, it's not as easy team to beat as people can think. Okay, you see, like we went to with the Julius five siblings, we went with the tough team, we went with this. We can also go if we want to try with the Necha team, sorry, with the AXA team, which is Cesar, Aiden, Astaroth, a very good team by the way, also to use usually with Julius and Faceless, something a team that you should consider also as a third team. So let me put here for you for your awareness. Oh, sorry, let me create the team first. Astaroth, Cesar, where is Aiden, Jorge, and it's very cheap because you don't need to invest anything in Jorge's and Faceless except the weapon artifact for both of them. Okay, so this is a very strong team, also very strong versus Hydra, and easy team to build. So also very good recommendation if you want it as a third team. Anyways, what I wanted to show you is this. So this Cesar Aiden with Astaroth, Cesar, and this is hard counter because Astaroth hard counter Fafnir. Let's see how it goes. You need to put here Masi, and then you need to put here Martha. Okay. So this was a team that always beat Progress team. Okay, or 90% of the times beats Progress team. So let's see what happens if we're able to beat it or no. Also, I don't remember. Like being honest with you, has the game crashed? No, has not crashed. You see H2, so you are not able to kill this team. Okay, like this is something to take into account. Like it's not that easy to, particularly if you have the Talisman of Julius, to kill this team. And then it's another option when people mention Lara is bad. Lara with Dante Octavia is very good. Lara with in JJ with Fafnir is very good also. Okay. Anyways, of course, choose a team with Dante Octavia and you are going to destroy this team easily. Let's go with the weak team that I recommended. Not the weak, I mean weak because we use Fafnir, sorry, Faceless instead of Iris. Let's see if we are able to beat this team. It should, but oh my god, the game is going super fast. You see, this one you were not able, but probably I think this looks like a draw, no? Here, a draw. Okay. And there is the thing, right? Like, oh, I cannot beat anything. Let's put Iris, and that's it. Let's see the difference with Iris. Despite, by the way, Julius hard counters Iris because it removed the mark of Iris. I think it's going to be too much for this team. A2. A little improvement, but you see, it's not a bad team at all whatsoever in defense, particularly in defense. So take this into account. In my opinion, you have already done JJ, I think, and you have already Fafnir, and you were able to build Lara. This is a totally different thing. If you have the Talisman of Lara, only the Talisman of Lara, I think it should be okay. As far as you have the artifact weapon 4-5 stars, okay? You don't need the physical attack skin, okay? And it should work. As far as you have the Talisman, it should work. Okay, this is unadvisable. Also, if you were having the old tough team, I will recommend to go to this team here, the Julius Oya Tristan, which here, this team here. Okay, it's another option. And then, of course, build Dante Octavia. Okay, recommended again this team. Well, this team here. In attack is probably the best one. In defense, you can play with Cascade Faceless, Faceless Amira. I don't like this because Amira is not as good as before. Some people has leveled up Glyphs 80 Amira, now it's very strong, but for your awareness, you have also the option of playing Lara with Martha, Lara with Astrid, Lara with Aiden, okay? Take this into account. So hope it helps and see you soon.